My name is Nancy Tennyson, and I'm a cheater. Okay, George Clooney is not in that closet in my bedroom. But here we are on a typical day. It's just around 7 a.m. I've gotten up, I've made my bed, I've got my gym clothes on, I'm ready to go. But this day is all about those little cheats, those little tweaks that we need, as much as routine is so necessary. And I love it. It makes me feel more productive. It makes me feel in control. It's stress reducing, having a really great routine. But what I want to talk to you about today is why we need to cheat or tweak our routine, our diet, to make us feel better and more alive. You can leave now, Brad. So it's a weekday morning, and where am I? Of course, I'm at Orange Theory. That's my usual. And why do I love it? I get lots of cardio, usually end up with about 5,000 steps, along with a tiny bit of strength training. And how I've managed to switch this up and tweak it just a little bit is they've recently added some Strength 50. So there's no treadmill, and I was like, that means no steps for me. But what I generally have to do at home is sort of pad my strength training at home because I don't get enough here. So what I've done instead is I started to do the Strength 50. It's a real change, new people, new techniques, new things to do, and I'm going to make up my steps later. So I've kind of just done a little shell game, but it's a change, and change is good. As committed as I am to Orange Theory, and I really do go Monday to Friday, it got to the point where it was really stressing me out when I couldn't go. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm missing a day or this or that. And you know what? I've gotten over that. And I have my Peloton, and I love the Peloton. I have a lot of other things that I can do at home, and I'm okay with it. But even though it was a good thing to do, the routine can sometimes have an adverse effect. And I just want to shake that off because there's other stuff out there. Another breakfast, another bowl of oatmeal with fruit and Greek yogurt. Is there anything wrong with that? No. Many of us spend a considerable amount of time coming up with our perfect menu, and it just happens to be great day after day. It gives us comfort. It's really easy. We open the fridge. We're not wondering what we're going to have. Makes shopping a lot easier. The problem lays in, what if you get so complacent with the meal and so reliant that it actually is the opposite of being stress-free? It stresses you because that's the only thing that you can eat without thinking, what am I doing? Am I going off the rails? No. We need to be moderate. We need to have choices. We need to add things. And so, although this is my easy weekday meal, often I still cheat a lot. At least once a week after Orange Theory, Paul and I meet here for breakfast. And I have to say, I usually order the same thing. Let's see if we can ask our server what I have without me telling her.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Are you having your usual, Nancy?
Yeah. Do you know what that is?
Yes. Poached eggs, dark rye, dry, sub tomato, ham.
Ham.
The healthiest option ever. Times 2 today?
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Thank you.
And then a tea.
And a tea.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great.
So I'm pretty careful about my diet most times. I always make sure that I got some good quality protein and a little bit of carbs. I always get rid of the potatoes because I'm picking the toast instead of the potatoes. We've gone through this before. When is there a time for a cheat? Well, we're going to see a little bit later. For an amazing topping or fruit dip, add 1 cup of cottage cheese to your food processor. Add the juice of half a lemon and some lemon peel. If you want, you can add a half teaspoon of sweetener. Whip thoroughly and enjoy. Many people might think this is a big cheat breakfast. I don't really look at it that way. I look at it just kind of changing it up. For sure, this challah egg bread is not my usual choice. I normally go for a little bit more fiber in something like this, but really, I've whipped up that cottage cheese, and if you have not whipped up cottage cheese, you really have to, because even if you hate cottage cheese, you are gonna love it like that. I do. put some lemon in it, and whip it up. Really delicious topping. I've got some turkey bacon, which I love. I'm not just having it because it's, way less fat and calories than regular bacon, which it is. But otherwise, the bread has replaced my oatmeal, the cottage cheese instead of the yogurt, and I've got all my fruit, and I've changed it up. I've given myself a break. So I never want to get sick of my regulars. So here's the little shake up. So I'm off for my walk now, and that is part of my routine that I really do not want to give up. But what am I going to do to keep it fresh? What am I going to do to stop only focusing on the number on my Apple Watch? Well, there's where we can make some little tweaks. I'm generally a true crime fanatic, love Swindled. But the other day, I switched my podcast. I listened to a comedy podcast, and it was hilarious, and I was walking by myself laughing my head off. That was a change. Maybe you can try switching up your music. If you're like my husband and you're stuck in the 80s and you're listening to Pet Shop Boys and Police, maybe, try some Dua Lipa or maybe even some Ed Sheeran to shake up the routine. I also took the time to call my brother, who doesn't live in the same city as I do, and I had a really great chat with him for about 45 minutes while I got my walk in, and it changed. Also, I sometimes change my route, so I don't feel that it's a chore, it's part of my routine. I'm still taking time to smell the roses. In this house, I'm pretty much the Captain Kirk of this kitchen enterprise. And by the way, William Shatner just turned 93, so that shows you how old he is and how old I am, but I digress. So we generally have a piece of protein, some veggies, and a salad for dinner. And Paul has what I have because generally I'm cooking. But tonight, he wanted burger and fries. And a lot of people would say, oh, Nancy, you're not going to eat a burger and fries. And you'd be wrong, because I am going to have a burger and fries, and I'm going to love it, and I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to eat it. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what it's all about. Learning to roll with the punches. Have what you want. Don't be crazy. We aren't going to the Cheesecake Factory to have the Whopper of all Whoppers for 2,000 calories. We're having a reasonable burger and fries. And I had some fennel and some oranges, and I made a little salad. So that's what we're having, and we're going to enjoy it. When my son Will first started his fitness and weight loss journey, and most of you know Will from his channel, and many of you were kind enough to come and follow me when I started my channel, so thank you for that. But when Will started his weight loss journey and his fitness journey, he was really, really strict. He ate to a very particular diet, and he would not waver from that diet. He would not eat with the family. He would not come out with us. He only ate within his own goals, within his own meal preparation, and he really missed out on a lot. And it took him quite a while to realize that he didn't have to do that. Finally, he came up with be good most of the time. And really, I believe that strongly. That is the way to live. You can't just be in a tunnel and not remember that there's a whole world out there. So eat, enjoy. When your friend asks you out for dinner, try to eat around it. We have these diets and we have these routines to help us, not to narrow things down that's all we live for. So I'm going to eat now. Bon appetit. So the other thing that I've been really committed to is my stretching. A few videos ago, I joined the Bend app, and you can see I'm 107 days into my streak. Well, what often happens is by the end of the day, after dinner, it's like, oh my gosh, I haven't done my stretches. And I've been hanging out in the basement by myself doing my stretches, which is really not ideal because Victoria really loves to play Jeopardy, and she loves for me to play Jeopardy with her. So what I started doing is bringing my yoga mat up to the family room so that we can play Jeopardy, and she can whoop me because she's 1,000 times smarter than I am. But we have fun. So I've maintained my routine. I'm getting my bend app in, I'm getting my stretches, and I'm not locking myself away in the basement. I'm sure that you've seen throughout this video that I really do have a routine. I like to eat the same food and do the same things. But what I've learned since I've gotten older is not to be a slave to it. Do it for me, for my enjoyment, but not to forget the bigger picture. My cheating is kind of like being a little bit pregnant. I could never stomach the thought of eating one of those gigantic cheat meals or having a whole cheat day like Nikki Avocado or some kind of power eater like Eric the Electric. That does not appeal to me. Plus, it means that I'd have to be way too restrictive all of the other days. And that's not going to work for me either. Remember, a change is as good as a rest. Don't give up on something because you're bored or you're fed up. Tweak it. Make it your own. Try little things that can refresh and reinvigorate things. This is what works for me. I really think that my son got it right when he said, be good most of the time. And it works for me, and I hope it's going to work for you. I really hope that you've enjoyed this video, and tell me down in the comments if you're hiding somebody in your cupboard. I've got George Clooney in the cupboard and Brad Pitt under the bed. Who are you going to sneak around with?